sorry. Yeah.
WEFM is SVG.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-999-7. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And we are back with you for another segment of our Activated Mornings program here on WEFM. And this is the time when we get commentary from Kingsley DeFreitas. Kingsley, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. Before I end the comment, I want to see if you could enlighten me on something that bothered me. I want to know if you could tell me who is the current DPP and what is the function of the DPP. Do you have any idea?
Based on the article that I read, I am not sure who is acting DPP. No, I'm not. I don't know.
Oh, so there should be an acting DPP.
I saw the article of who was there before taking up a new appointment. So that's why I said I don't know who's in the acting position now.
Well, I get the impression that while Dr. Gonzalez may be responsible for the suggestion of a DPP, he don't have the ability to make sure, in other words, let's use the simple word, to fire the DPP, because he is protected under the Constitution. So what could be arranged is that as Minister of Legal Affairs and Justice, he could suggest that this person possesses his ability and could be transferred to a different post. And I wonder if that was taking place. But I get the impression over the last couple of years that the Minister of Legal Affairs is not satisfied with the function of the DPP. And we see that the person is no longer there. And I don't know if we have an acting DPP, but somebody in the office is very important, because when one is accused and is charged, the files of the investigation should go to the DPP, and he and she will determine the nature of charge that the accused person may face in court. So I like to say, I'm not too sure if there's any acting DPP or the officers being functioning without an acting DPP so far. But here's something, right? If I only had the Prime Minister's authority to make suggestions, I would have given one of the Williams brothers, that's two Williams who practice law, and I'm referring to the younger one. We just call them, generally call them Bones. If not, I would recommend Grant Connell, and if not, the person that I think may eventually get the job is Miss Simmons. So I'm hoping that Miss Simmons, she's a practicing attorney, and most people think that she will make a good DPP. So let's hope that our Prime Minister listen and he will make those suggestions to be appointed soon, because we have to have a function DPP office with the nature of crime are taking place. Somebody has to be out there to make an assessment of who and what charges they should carry. So I am just a bit concerned about the composition of the office, because the person who was there and was accused of misbehaving public alongside former Senator Asher Marvin is no longer there. And when you speak to other lawyers, they think that he was the fine deputy DPP and he was pleased to do a good job, but he's no longer there. So let's hope that Dr. Gonzalez will listen, make some appointments, either Mr. Williams, Mr. Connell, or Ms. Simmons will be the position holder sooner rather than later. And that's my thought for today, and have a wonderful day, okay?
All right, thanks, Kingsley. All right, so that was Kingsley there sharing his thoughts on his suggestions of who he thinks would make some good candidates or nominees for the role of DPP, which, well, I'm not sure if it is already vacant or it's soon to become vacant. I'd have to go back to the article to say exactly precisely what the correct words I should be using are there, right? But we will be having a new DPP at some point in time, all right? Now, I can't really comment too much on this, Kingsley. I heard your suggestions. The Simmons person, I don't think that I'm familiar with that person, unless I'm not sure what the person's first name is, what her first name is, but we will see what happens. We will see what happens. But I don't really have much commentary to make on that one this morning, all right? All right, Joshua, good morning.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Good morning. I've got a question, and I seriously need an answer. Well, two questions, really. I've asked this time and time again. Is there like a Vincentian dictionary available?
Yes, Joshua, you have to pre-order it.
Good. Send me the information, please, because I would love to get my hand on one.
I'll send you the link.
I really get confused. Vincentians are very, very good. They excel in many areas because here in Bermuda, we take advantage of the brain drain. We got some excellent Vincentians here in just about every position. Unfortunately, in the education revolution, English language got lost in translation. I listened to a news report this morning which said the vehicle lost control. That is impossible. A vehicle could never ever lose control unless it is remotely driven. I pause for your response.
No, listen, I'm going to look back at the news report to see exactly what was said. But you go ahead and continue speaking.
Yes, a vehicle could never ever lose control. The driver of the vehicle could lose control of the vehicle. Now we speak in English language here.
All right,
and
so what the news report said is that okay, so the vehicle reportedly bearing number plate was traveling northbound from the Connery stretch towards Goss when the driver is said to have lost control, causing it to plunge over an embankment. So that's what was read in the news.
Yes. But someone said a presenter said the vehicle lost control. That's impossible. I just want to emphasize the importance of English, and if it's no longer being taught in school, there are many brilliant minds in St. Vincent. I wish someone would come up with the right phrases and words and so on to use. Still, my pet peeve is would have. This does not work outside of St. Vincent. We have to learn to speak English. I know I'm going to take licks for this, but it is what it is. I did not get an invitation from some people, so there's an old saying: "He who is not invited will be insulted."
What are we talking about now? What about it? What is that part about? That's you and Dianna?
I don't know. I'm just going to leave that there. And I don't know what's happening with Rosie. I haven't heard from Rosie for like a whole week.
Mommy, please contact Joshua.
Yes, please. So have a great day, ladies. And Anita, I'll talk to you tonight. Please don't call me today because I would be somewhere between here and there. So I'll talk to you tonight. Have a great day.
All right. Have a good one, Joshua. All right. So Joshua. Oh, we have a caller? Okay, we took the call. We don't have a caller. All right. Oh Lord. All right. So Joshua. All right. So Joshua, I take your point in that when we are speaking, and I don't think it's necessarily directed to us just here as announcers, that we need to be a little bit more exact and precise with what we're saying, right? Particularly as announcers, we need to, right? Because persons are listening, and I've always been of the opinion that sometimes when you hear certain announcers, there is the butchering of the English language, right? I will admit to that. That's sometimes it does rub me the wrong way. What I can also say, though, Joshua, is that how to say this? Okay. There is also this thing of when we are speaking on air, we are speaking to the Vincentian audience. And yes, I recognize that it's not just Vincentians or Vincentians residing here who are listening to us, right? But there are going to be times, and when I say we know, I'm speaking as announcers, not just Dianna and myself, that we are going to speak Vinci. There are many times when we speak as Vincentians, we abbreviate things in a way where Vincentians would understand, right? We're not as explicit. We are not, we sort of curtail certain things because we know that Vincis are going to understand, right? But I cannot understand and accept that maybe as announcers, we do have a bit more of we are a lot more in the spotlight when it comes to being exact and precise. And this is why I think Dianna and myself, we try to do the right thing, even though I guess sometimes when it comes across to some individuals, you're being a little bit too exact and too precise. But I sometimes just feel like it's a interesting balance that we have to set, right? In terms of saying things to be conversational, because it's a conversation that we're having with you, right? We're not here doing presenting a thesis or doing a TED Talk. Well, even TED Talk is a little bit more conversational as well. But I suppose it's being able to strike that balance. All right, Joshua, so we are going to try. Okay. I don't know what else to say with Joshua. I don't know what else.
Joshua, I guess what I could say is just that we recognize that we are not native English speakers. English is the language that was forced on many of us by the colonizers. It's not the easiest language to learn. It is not the easiest language to have control of, to speak. There's so many rules. There's so many exceptions to the rules. There's so many variations to things and so on. And not everybody is able to grasp that. We would like to believe that they'd learn that in school and they would be taught the right things in school. But the reality is some of these adults who do not have that full command of the English language are who also become teachers and can't teach where you don't know, right? But we have that as part of the
and maybe
issue
Joshua would like
well.
for you to put that in standard English.
Oh, yes. You can't.
You see, that is it. That is exactly it, right?
Well, I've always made it clear that I will not throw away my Vinci Creole. To the non-Vincis, when I speak Vinci Creole, it's not that I'm trying to have you not understand what I'm saying or I'm trying to leave you out. I would really love if you hear something and you inquire, hey, what's that? I would like to learn that, because when I hear things from your language, that's exactly what I do, right? So as it relates to that part, I'm not trying to leave you out, but it's my Vinci Creole, and I am going to chip in and out with it occasionally. Hopefully you can learn the phrase or the phrases, and then you can get to use it when you come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, right? So the English language is very difficult. What I try to do, because I was one of those people who would be all peeved out when I hear certain things, but I am trying to tell myself it is a very hard language to learn and to use, and just hope that persons will get things as they go along the way.
All right, so even with the part that you're saying, it's English and it's difficult. I don't know whose English we should be speaking, because even the English that you hear spoken in England, there are these documentaries. I've never visited England, but I'm always looking at documentaries, and it depends on there are different accents, there are different pronunciations, even within England itself, right? Mm-hmm. So even with us here in SVG, the way in which I speak, I would not be speaking like somebody from Georgetown. I always remember a time in UE, there was a friend from a different Caribbean country. I think a Malaysian friend. She was like, so how it is you speaking this way? And a friend of mine who from Georgetown was speaking differently. And I said, because we have Vincentians, yes. While we would understand each other, there are different communities who have different accents, right? Mm-hmm. I can understand an issue of subject-verb agreement. Yes, Joshua, I also get annoyed with anybody saying would have, right? Would have or would have, using it in the wrong context. I also do have an issue with it. But when it comes to, let's say, using dialect or using slangs and so forth, it's a conversation that we're having on air, right? So I understand certain pet peeves, yes. I am not going to say that I am going to accept, you see, even that. I'm not going to accept green verbs. And even for that, somebody I might now have to go and break down what green verbs are, but I'm not going to accept that. But it is, we can't be stiff, right? I think that is just the point that I want to say, that on air, we cannot be stiff, but we should be able to impass the correct things as well, because we do have a younger audience who is listening, right? And who are going to be emulating and following us in terms of some of the things that would be said as announcers, not just Dianna and myself, but as announcers.
And even
all right.
as we speak, everywhere you go, there's going to be a dialect, and every single language has a dialect. So no matter where you go, as Roleza was talking about the in Britain, no matter where you go, you're going to find variations of the language. I think what we ought to do is to just accept the variations, because that's what makes us who we are. And just learn so that you are able to code switch. And for those who cannot code switch, then we just need to have a little bit more patience with them.
And that's the thing with code switching, because you know I have a friend who does it so well. She's from North Leeward, but when she's ready to break out into that dialect, it's like, Lord, jeez, you know, it's like, wow, you know. But it is what it is. It is what it is, and it makes us unique, and it makes us interesting, and to be able to hear and to understand, you know. So many times people praise the Jamaican patois, but yet you look down on our own local dialect. Come on, you know. So yeah, Joshua boy, you must get earful this morning. We sorry.
I don't think he might.
I think he probably did brace himself for it. All right. So with that, we are heading.
Shorten this thing.
Okay, you could go back and you could edit it after. So you could close it out
All
and then you could go back and edit it after on your Facebook page. All right. So with that, we're out, folks.